Managing anger is a challenge faced by people from all walks of life. Whether it is a fleeting flash of irritation at a traffic jam, a heated argument with a loved one, or the slow buildup of frustration over unmet expectations, anger is a universal human emotion. Yet, while anger in itself is neither good nor bad, how we understand it and what we choose to do with it makes all the difference, to our own sense of peace, to the quality of our relationships, and to the well-being of those around us. This journey towards managing anger isn't about suppressing or denying what we feel, but about meeting our emotions with mindful awareness and learning to express ourselves with kindness and respect, both for ourselves and others. Mindfulness offers us a gentle and effective path for relating to our anger. At its core, mindfulness is about paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, and without judgment. When anger arises, our habitual response is often to react impulsively, raising our voice, lashing out, or becoming silent and withdrawn. Mindfulness, however, invites us to pause and notice our anger as it unfolds, becoming curious observers of our own experience. In this mindful space, we are neither swept away by our rage nor forced to deny it. Instead, we begin to recognize anger as an emotionally charged signal calling for our attention, often pointing toward deeper needs or hurts, rather than simply trying to punish or control our behavior. The first step to managing anger through mindfulness is tuning into the body. Anger is not just a thought in the mind. It is a full-body experience. Tightness in the chest, heat rising up the neck, clenching of the jaw or fists, a racing heart. These are all physical manifestations of anger. By directing our attention toward these bodily sensations, we stay grounded in the present moment and can notice the waves of anger as they peak and pass. Taking a few slow, deep breaths and feeling the air as it moves in and out of the body helps to soothe the nervous system and create a buffer between the feeling of anger and our usual reaction. In this way, mindfulness is not about stopping anger, but about noticing it, feeling it, and giving it space without letting it take over. Understanding the origins of our anger is the next step. Mindfulness encourages compassionate investigation. What triggered this feeling? Is there something deeper beneath it? Perhaps fear, hurt, disappointment, or a sense of injustice? Often, anger is what psychologists call a secondary emotion. It arises quickly to defend us when more vulnerable feelings seem too raw or threatening to face. Mindfully acknowledging the primary emotion beneath our anger might reveal sadness, frustration, or a desire for respect and understanding. By identifying these root causes, we are better equipped to address the real issues, making our responses more authentic and less reactive. Yet, while mindfulness teaches us to befriend our emotions, managing anger is also about how we express it. This is where compassionate communication comes in. Compassionate communication, often called nonviolent communication, is a practice of expressing ourselves honestly and empathically, and of listening to others with genuine curiosity and care. When anger drives our words and actions, it is easy for conversations to devolve into blame, criticism, and defensiveness. Compassionate communication offers a framework for breaking this cycle, turning conflict into connection. At the heart of compassionate communication is the willingness to observe and express without judgment. Instead of accusing, "You always ignore me," try, "When I see you looking at your phone while I'm talking, I feel hurt." This subtle shift from blame to observation reduces defensiveness and opens the possibility for understanding. It allows you to own your feelings without attributing malicious intent to the other person. Using I statements rather than you statements creates an emotional buffer, transforming a potential confrontation into an honest sharing. After expressing what we observe, the next step is to name our feelings. This isn't always easy, as anger sometimes masks more complex emotions. Take a breath and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Is there sadness, fear, loneliness, or disappointment beneath the initial surge of anger? Naming our feelings can be incredibly disarming for both ourselves and the person we're communicating with. It humanizes us and invites empathy rather than stoking further conflict. Once we have shared our feelings, we can move on to expressing our needs. Anger often signals an unmet need, whether it's the need for respect, honesty, attention, or understanding. Speaking these needs openly, rather than expecting others to read our minds or act differently by default, is a radical act of self-care and honesty. Expressing needs might sound like, "I need to feel heard in this conversation," or "I need a little space to process my feelings before we talk." When we name our needs without demands or expectation, we give others a chance to respond freely and kindly. Finally, compassionate communication involves making a clear request. A request is not a demand, it is an invitation. Would you be willing to put your phone down while we're talking for the next 10 minutes? Or, can we pause this conversation and return to it when we're both calmer? These requests are specific, actionable, and rooted in a spirit of collaboration rather than coercion. They foster an environment where both parties can engage meaningfully, with respect for each other's boundaries and needs. Managing anger through mindfulness and compassionate communication does not mean we never get angry. Rather, it teaches us to approach anger with curiosity rather than judgment, with care rather than force, and with the intention of understanding rather than dominating. When we listen to our anger mindfully, we recognize its wisdom. It points us toward what matters most, and when handled skillfully, becomes a source of self-awareness and growth. Practicing these skills takes time and patience. Old habits may feel hard to break, especially in the heat of the moment, but each step toward mindful awareness and compassionate dialogue strengthens our capacity for emotional regulation. Simple daily practices can support this journey. Mindful breathing for a few minutes each morning sets a tone of calm. Pausing when we notice anger, checking in with the body, and acknowledging our feelings build a new pattern of awareness. Journaling about moments of anger and reflecting on what triggered it, how it felt, how we responded, and what we might do differently next time, helps us learn over time. Self-compassion is essential in this process. Managing anger is a human endeavor, not a test of perfection. There will be moments when we slip up, say things we regret, or feel overwhelmed by emotion. In those moments, being gentle with ourselves, rather than piling on self-criticism, allows us to return to mindfulness and try again. Compassionate self-talk, such as, "It's okay to feel angry, it's okay to make mistakes, I am learning," soothes and encourages us on our journey. It is also important to recognize the boundaries of our practice. In situations where anger feels uncontrollable or is connected to trauma, abuse, or long-standing patterns of aggression, seeking support from a therapist or counselor can be invaluable. Mindfulness and compassionate communication are powerful tools, but they work best alongside appropriate professional care when deeper issues arise. The benefits of these practices extend far beyond ourselves. When we manage our anger mindfully and communicate compassionately, we contribute to environments, at home, at work, in our communities, where honesty, respect, and safety become the norm. Children who witness adults handling anger constructively learn to trust their own feelings and express themselves responsibly. Partners who practice mindful listening and compassionate expression build relationships founded on trust and mutual support. Even casual interactions in everyday life, customer service encounters, conversations with neighbors, even moments of road rage, become opportunities to transform conflict into connection. At its heart, managing anger through mindfulness and compassionate communication is an invitation to listen more deeply, speak more kindly, and respond more thoughtfully to the inevitable challenges of life. It asks us to honor our own humanity and the humanity of others in the heat of emotion, and to believe in the possibility of growth, healing, and understanding, even when tempers flare. In a world that often seems fueled by outrage and polarization, there is immense power in choosing presence over reactivity, understanding over blame, and compassion over control. Each mindful breath taken in the midst of anger, each moment of honest sharing, and each act of empathetic listening creates ripples of peace that can reach further than we ever imagine. It is not always easy, but it is transformative. Let us remember that anger, properly understood and skillfully managed, is not our enemy. It is a messenger calling us back to ourselves, reminding us of our deepest values, our unmet needs, and our longing for connection. With mindfulness and compassionate communication, we can learn not only to manage our anger, but to transform it into a force for healing, understanding, and genuine human connection. Through patience, practice, and a genuine commitment to kindness, we can respond to life's challenges with a calm, steady heart, and in doing so, make our world just a little more peaceful for ourselves and those we love. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe us and check out therapyandrelaxation.com for more. See you tomorrow.